today. It's that time. So again, thanks everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 24th, 2012, 1432 Moorish calendar, and it's pertinent and it's insightful when you put your mind state back in that concept of the Moorish calendar or the Islamic calendar, as they say. So it's 1432, and when you look at certain dates like the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco and the United States. That comes at exactly 1200. So it's interesting. But anyway, like I said, today's April 24th, 1432. We're gathered here to have class as we do. So we'll start off with a prayer, right, and give honors to Allah, all active Moors, and all the Moors who come before and all the Moors who will come after. So 5 on the left and 2 on the right. Allah,
Allah,
the Father of the universe,
Father of the universe,
Mother and Father of love,
Mother and Father of love,
truth,
peace,
freedom,
and
justice.
justice.
Allah is our protector,
Allah is our protector,
our guide,
our guide,
and our salvation.
and our salvation.
By night, and by day, through His and her holy prophet,
Through His and her holy prophet,
through Ali.
Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Ameen.
Ameen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Hotep.
Hotep.
Islam. Islam family. So I'm going to start with some of the basic Moorish literature. Although it's basic, it's also very deep and takes a lot of time to really digest as you ingest and ingest and ingest over and over to really break it down, right? So this is and the reason we do this, just a reminder, is because we're Moors of every level of the movement. We represent the Moorish divine and holy movement and all that's encompassed within it. That means people fighting for freedom halfway across the world. And you'll never see the word Moor attached to the newspaper article, but don't get it twisted, right? And then that goes on to whether it be the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, the old Canaanite temple especially. That's something that we're working on as well, right? But as you study, you'll understand the different levels. So, and why they're put in place. And so to further understand why they're put in place, we read some of the letters directly from Juali, because he's the one who established it in such a way, instead of just saying, well, let's all come together as human beings and let's just have one organization. There's certain things that he had to do, right? And he came to us, like he said, because he needed him the most. And so he set something up, but of course there's always, in every group of people, insidious and underhanded people. So he set other things up and try to get them off track, right? Set other things up to keep rightful Moors on track. Set certain things up so we can interface with the corporate realities. So that's why there's, these different entities. Right? The Moorish Holy Temple of Science, the Moorish Temple of Science, Old Canaanite Temple, right? Moorish Science Temple of America. So, January 15, 1929, a warning from the Prophet to be read in every meeting. The original has been recorded from the Home Office of E. Neely L., March 11, 1929. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speeches while on their jobs, homes, or on the public streets. We advocate peace and not destruction. Stop trying out your cards with the Europeans, for it causes confusion. There has been much confusion caused by members trying out their cards. The cards are for your salvation. Failure of obeying my orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members that seek to hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or to violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet, and if they lose confidence in their prophet, give up your card and button, cease wearing your turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. For this is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the Prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The Prophet is sending out a divine plea to all true Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting their Prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the Prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali. So that's the first one. The next letter to be proclaimed in every meeting. This is March 18, 1929, so this is a few months later. Islam, I am glad to know I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your Prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the Prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the last few years. Okay, so those are the two letters that were supposed to be read in every meeting. And for a long time, they weren't read. You know, people had meetings and they just did whatever it is that they do. But you know, we're not concerned with that because in Canaanland we do things the way it's supposed to be done, the way the Prophet wanted us to do it.
Eyes wide open.
Eyes wide open. All right, so just a little introduction for anybody new coming in or watching. We're going to go over a definition that we have here from Encyclopedia Britannica, Singapore. More, any member of the Muslim population of Spain of mixed Arab, Spanish, and Berber origins, North African Muslims called by their Latin name Mari, i.e. natives of Roman Mauritania, invaded Spain in the 8th century and under the Umayyad and Almoravid dynasties created the great Arab Andalusian civilization in such cities as Cordoba, Toledo, Granada, and Seville. The Christian reconquest of Spain under Alfonso VI began in the 11th century. From then until the Moors' final defeat in 1492 and for another century thereafter, many Moors settled as refugees in North Africa. See also Mudahars. When you click to Mudahars, it gives you from Arabic, permitted to remain. Any member of a group of Muslims who remained in Spain after the Christian reconquest of the Iberian Peninsula, 11th to 15th century. In return for payment of a tax, the Mudahars were a protected minority allowed to keep their religion, language, and customs. They formed separate communities in larger towns where they were subject to their own Muslim laws. By the 13th century, they had begun to use Spanish, which they wrote in Arabic characters. After 1492, they were forced to leave Spain or convert to Christianity, and by the early 17th century, more than 3 million Spanish Muslims had been expelled.
Noble Drew Ali in the 101s and the 102s, question number 88 and 87. So 88 in the 101s and 87 in the 102s. What is meant by the word black? Black, according to science, means death. And this is the Prophet talking. So we already talked about the fact that, like, it's the Prophet, the same Prophet in all the books that everybody has. That's who Noble Drew Ali is. And he came to save the nation. And the black agenda is to divert people's attention away from the Moorish movement into everything else that has nothing to do with them, because they're not black. Because Noble Drew Ali came and said that black means death. So if black means death, why are you repping black? Like, what's the problem? What's so hard about the lesson? Right? So this is the prophet talking. I don't care what people want to assume about what the prophet is and what it is or whatever, but if you look up prophet in a dictionary, in any language in the world, anywhere, all the definitions are going to be relative. Because that's something common across the planet, that everybody knows what a prophet is. And everybody knows what the false ones are, and everybody knows don't follow the false ones. Because they know that, I know I have real apple. Why eat plastic apple? If I know I have the real one right here that I could eat, but we'll eat the plastic apple and then say, because I'm black, you're abusing me. When there was a sign sticking in the apple saying, if you eat this apple, I'm going to abuse you. They still ate the apple. I know it was a plastic apple. And now they're mad at everybody. Right? Just because they want to be black and defend that. But the prophet came and said, what is meant by the word black? So he's asking him the question. And he didn't even let you answer because he knew you would talk some crap. So he answered it for you and said, black according to science means death. Right? Answered it for you too. And that's what 101 is. One-on-one with you and the prophet, sitting down, going from number 1 to number 101. And then obviously the next thing would be 102. And then 103, and then 104, and then 105, and then 106. More than do what they're supposed to do. So we just have 101s and 102s, and that's it. And the 102s were hidden in the attic chamber. And then, because the prophet came and laid down the law, and prophet said, nothing's supposed to leave the attic chamber, everything stays in the attic chamber. Well, okay, we'll put the Circle 7, put that in the attic chamber. So that means nobody, you can't leave. Then we'll take the mandate and we'll put that in the attic chamber. And we'll take all the literature of Noble Drawley, we'll put that in the attic chamber. Right? And conceal all the information from the general people, who are the ones that are supposed to have the information, so they could go out there and do what this person who they say is the leader is doing. That was the mandate. Because it's a Rotarian organization. It's a Rotarian movement. So the obligation is to take it and give it to somebody else.
Do something with it.
Do something with it. You have it.
They had all this and didn't do anything with it and didn't want anybody else to do with it because probably, who knows?
Because that's why he said, before every meeting, read these things. There's going to be people that's going to be trying every scheme to try to get hold of the position that I have right now as the prophet. They're going to try every scheme. They're going to say you're black, and that you don't buy that. And they say that you're colored. They don't buy that. They say, okay, well, you're Negro. Because just like we're reading in the definition of Moor, Spanish is in there. And Negro is Spanish, and it means black. So it's all the same propaganda. To try to get us to accept black as a reality. When the prophet came and said, black according to science means death. You're going to justify that? You get mad when people beat you away with a stick? No one wants death around them. If you ask majority of people, they're not going to be like, yeah, just, yeah, death. Bring death and destruction on us right now, O Christ Jesus, Lord. Because that's what we want. No. Because you know what that is, right? Right? But they justify it. El Haj Malik Shabazz. who everybody likes to call Malcolm X. Right? Everybody likes to call Malcolm X. That's not his name. But he's the black nationalist. He's the black guy. The black Muslim. But they don't call it, when they got the picture up, right? They got the picture up of him, you know what I mean? In the pose, and, right? They have Malcolm X on there. But the man's name is not Malcolm X. Why are you giving him a black name? X is a letter, not a last name, or a surname, or anything to do with names. The letter. That's no different than calling yourself a color. But this is what the agenda is. Get you away from Moorish information, because that's where the salvation is. And Prophet came and said, yo, salvation, the only sole foundation that's going to save all these Asiatics is what I'm bringing. But nobody doesn't want it. Because agents and infiltrators and sellouts and etc. Just like Prophet said, read every meeting, and only maybe like 5 years that's been in circulation amongst people. You tell me that the man's hiding stuff for 70 years? Like you hold back something for 70 years. And then it comes out and it's like, I mean, explosions start going off now in the brain because, you know, I put 70 years into this. And now I'm finding out that, you know, there was infiltration and FBI and all this type of stuff. Pro and Hoover and, you know what I mean? And you know, Oscar the Priest, and you look at this totally different now when you see the players that are involved in the game. Right? When we read the definition was from dictionary, online, for Singapore more. Right? Singapore more, right? So I'm at work today, and you know, Prophet said, keep your eyes on the radio, listen to the news, right? So the European lady, we're just there, work's done, you know, she's just waiting for a fax, and I'm just like trying to find some stuff for today. And she's telling me about this show called Who Do You Think You Are, where they DNA test people. So they DNA tested Margaret Trudeau. Right? So Pierre Trudeau's ex. Right? Margaret Trudeau traveled thousands of kilometers to Singapore to finally unravel a long-standing mystery in her family history, especially on her mother's side. Trudeau is not, as first believed, a descendant of an Indian princess, but her great-great-grandmother had a mixture of Malaysian and French blood, as revealed in the CBC series Who Do You Think You Are? Thursday is a program which traces the genealogy of the Vancouver-born former wife of Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Her great-great-great-grandmother was Esther, the eldest daughter of a Scot named William Farquhar, Farquhar, one of the early founders of Singapore. And we already know Farquhar is the Arabic name, right? So already things are going off right now, right? You know, we don't have to go past there. We can put this down and go to the next one. But there's more in this, right? Farquhar's wife was the daughter of a French officer and Malaysian woman. His daughter Esther married Francis James Bernard in 1818, and the show says she had a tough life in Singapore, raising 5 young children after her husband, a British Army dropout, left her. Esther finally died at age 41, almost penniless, and Trudeau visited her gravesite and breaks down in one of the program's most emotional moments. "Oh my goodness," says Trudeau, upon entering the cemetery and seeing for the first time the gravestone of Esther Bernard. She reads the inscription on the gravestone that mentions the hard life Esther endured in the final years of her life without her husband. At that point, Trudeau gets teary-eyed as she finishes reading the inscription in silence while the camera is fixed on her face. Then she makes a surprisingly candid comment about her younger son, Michael, who died in November 1998 when he was swept away by an avalanche in British Columbia's Kokanee Glacier Park. His body was never found. My son's grave is in the high remote mountains of BC, and I have to make a long trek to go there to pay my respects. It's the same as being here, she says in the closing moments of the TV program. Trudeau goes on in reminiscence that life is rich and also filled with sorrow. She added, "I'm very glad to be able to pay my respect to my great-great-great-grandmother. I think you have to honor those who have passed and let their spirit live. And I feel very much that Esther has entered into my spirit." In a brief interview Wednesday, Trudeau, who went to Singapore last September, expressed her joy at having traveled so far to find out about her family history. "I just thought it was a gift to the family when CBC asked me to do it," she said from her Montreal home. It was a chance to have a really good look back. We certainly know a lot about the Sinclairs, her maiden name, but very little about my mother's side. Trudeau says in the program that she remembers her father saying, "Family is everything," and that's why she was so interested in retracing her family lineage.
His,
Right.
She knew she was connected.
Right.
So her son was never found.
No. Right.
Except
So everybody is vibrating on some type of frequency. You know, like this is Pierre Trudeau's wife now. Like, she's big time. Pierre Trudeau's not no small man. You know, that's like on the same level of Hoover and these people who Noble Juali was having conversations with and going to their office and chilling and talking and representing the nation because he was the first Moorish American. And his job was to set the way and then just follow him, like he said. But people don't want to do that. They want to try to sell that to people as an idea. But this is not an idea. This is your birthright. Noble Juali said it's yours. So if you don't want it, it's cool. But, you know, you're only injuring yourself. And then you're going to complain when you get injured. Even when you're not injured, you're going to complain. Right? Which is where the next one's going now. So this one is about this black lady cake. You hear about the black lady cake?
Yeah. I heard it on. Yeah, I heard it yesterday.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no.
Yeah.
My,
Yeah, just talk up a little bit so we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what my friend was telling me was that the black folk down south were complaining because it was supposed to be a black woman they're eating or something like that. I don't know if I have the story correct.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I'll let you say
Yeah.
it.
So Swedish official gleefully cuts racist black lady cake. Delights onlookers.
Yeah, the cake.
The cake's actually a piece of performance art by Makode Ajlinde, Makodeajlinde, who plays the yelling head and says that the cake's meant to be a provocative social commentary on the issue of female circumcision in Africa as it's viewed by the West. The Swedish Minister of Culture, Lena Andelsson Liljeroth, says she was asked to cut the cake as part of her official appearance at the event, which she described as a bizarre situation. According to AJ Linde's Facebook page, Liljeroth was asked to whisper, "Your life will be better after this," before cutting into the crotch. And then there's like, you pass this around. This is black and white, but you can just go.
I don't mean to laugh. Forgive me for that.
You can just go on Swedish black cake or whatever, and then it'll come up or whatever, right?
I actually saw that.
Yeah.
And every
right?
time they went to cut the head there,
Yeah.
they say, "Ah, ah," screaming, "Ah!" I said, "What's this shit?"
Right.
Honestly, they lost their minds.
No. In the this is what we're talking about with the propaganda. To get your attention, so you can not pay attention to where you're supposed to be paying attention to. There's Noble Ali held up the Circle 7 and he held up the 101s and he says, "I gave you everything it takes to save a nation, take it and free yourself." Right? Like all the articles, this is just one of them. All the articles, it's a black lady cake. A black lady cake. Like, that's what it is. It's not an African lady cake. It's not a ex-slave
Nope.
lady cake.
It's blackface.
It's not a, like ancient Egyptian queen lady cake.
Nope.
It's a black lady cake. And people are mad at people eating cake. Like, people can't eat cake. What's the problem? Like, this is our mentality?
Yeah. So we're doing a lot of this stuff to ourselves.
Yeah.
Falling for it.
It's not even them that
Was not.
How does it taste? It tasted like chocolate. Yeah. You know what I saw that they were screaming every time somebody cut, the head would scream. And
Is this for real?
oh, this is for real. It's on YouTube or wherever
Yeah,
it's
like
at. I
it's
saw
a
it.
real thing.
Like a sound
Yeah.
box and
Something.
When
know?
you see
like
the
even
head,
the head had locks and stuff
yeah,
like
the
that. It
head
had locks
by
and a
itself, a
wrap.
real human head painted up. But there's a piece of cake. Every time they cut down by the crotch area, they were screaming, "Ha!" Right? But the thing is, they're actually really eating us too, because anytime they're taking what's those pills to go to sleep, melon pills, whatever.
Yeah, melatonin.
Yeah, well, that's
The injection, they step up now.
where do you think it's coming from?
So no, where did this take place?
Lay that on.
This was
the
like,
harvest
I
over
think a
there.
week
Lay
ago.
that on.
Really?
Yeah, this is
the
recent. Recent
During
thing.
Rwanda.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But this is what has the people not paying attention to what the prophet brought.
Deliberate distraction.
Yeah.
This would
Right.
do L. Jolson proud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
Well,
psych
that's why
war.
I didn't mean to break out laughing when
You know
I
what I
saw
mean?
the picture, but
The psych
my
war, man.
goodness.
The psych war.
It's the psych war is right.
Right? And then once again, as usual, still in the news. Right? Still in the news. Right? This Trayvon Martin Zimmerman.
Right.
Right? So now he's released now. Right?
They cut him loose.
They cut him loose.
No grand jury.
Well, they let him free on bond.
He's not off the hook. They cut him
Not
loose,
the hook.
but
But there's still demonstrations.
Free on bond, right? This is how they punk black people. They just hold black people and
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's all right? This is how they punk black people, right? If you say you're black, right, like, eat this. That's how they punk them. George Zimmerman, the neighborhood watch volunteer charged with the murder and February death of Trayvon Martin has been released on bail from a Florida jail. Right? So right now they're supposed to be mad. As soon as the release, they're supposed to be mad. Because this is their talk. Right? From, we'll call his name Malcolm X. Right? Who, all of a sudden went to Mecca and came back with this whole new idea that it's not about black and white anymore. Right? Yeah, he used to want to kill crackers and stuff. You know Malcolm X. Like, we know Malcolm X.
They have
You know,
stopped him from
the
putting in.
dog, that dog of a human and those type of stuff. You know what I mean? We know what he used to talk about, what he was on. He was on kill crackers. Right? All these leaders that we had, right? Their agenda was that there's an enemy. And we have to get rid of the enemy. But nobody's ever getting rid of the enemy. That's the spirit moving in.
You're good. You got some telepathy, Andrew. You might have some more blood in you to do that one.
Yeah.
And don't know it.
You got something. You got something. You're tapped. Don't worry. You're tapped. Yeah, you got time.
Impeccable.
Okay, everybody, get him. Okay, you're supposed to say order in the court, brother. That's you. Shit, I said, come on, get together. Come on. Are we in class? Come on now.
Inside joke. Zimmerman walked out on John East Polk Correctional Facility in Stanford, Florida, around midnight Sunday, wearing a brown jacket and blue jeans and carrying a brown paper bag in his arms. So we don't know if he has money. We don't know if that's the stuff that he got when he went in there, right? Because he went in there with one shirt and one pants. I don't know what you have in a bag of stuff. Like, what are you really getting? Why would you have anything? If when we saw them take you in, you didn't have anything. All you had was your shirt, your pants, and that's it. Right? Brown bagging. Right? He got into the back of a white BMW. This is Zimmerman, the guy who shot a youth man, got into the back of a BMW with a brown bag. Now, where I come from, you see a man just going into a BMW with a bag, and he's just getting out of prison. He has friends. He has friends. I don't know who his friends are, but you get into a white BMW. I don't care if it's an 86 BMW. You have friends. Yeah, you could just put it right there. Right? It was not immediately known where he was headed. Family members and Zimmerman's attorney, Mark O'Mara, have stressed the need for secrecy regarding Zimmerman's destination. Right? This is just for all the black people. Want to talk stuff, you know what I mean? You guys are hyped. And look what they're doing to you. Like, look what they're doing. Just because you claim that label, that slave tag, that allows civilized people to treat you uncivil. Because civilized people know that's about nationality. Civilized people aren't on the black game. Right? Like, and if you read what's going on, like, it's just, if you guys are still gonna accept the folly, opposed to change your position, right? Instead of switching your position, like, right? Khalid Muhammad, to kill crackers. Kill crackers. We know Dr. Khalid was on some kill crackers. We need to get them off of the planet. But then all of a sudden you just, come to some realization that, hold on a second, we're about killing crackers. Right? So this is Khalid Muhammad. On YouTube, you can go look at it for yourself. I'm a Moor. Islam. I'm a Moor and I got sense to know that I'm a Moor. I'm never going to argue with you that I'm not a Moor. Prophet Noble Joe Ali taught us that we were Asiatic. Master Farad Muhammad coming behind that taught it to Elijah Muhammad.
Islam.
So what's he saying? Khalid Muhammad. And this is supposedly the last speech before he was assassinated. But all these people who kill crackers, don't forget the motto: kill crackers. Right? If Hoover was involved in Noble Drew Ali's death, definitely some crackers were involved in anybody else's death that happened. But nobody's not doing nothing. Everybody's playing possum. Like, why are you playing possum? For certain places where, like treason is like, you don't play around with treason and being a traitor, especially to your nation. You're not gonna, you wouldn't even have the indecency to burn somebody else's flag, much less your own. But there's certain things you just, when you're dealing internationally, nation to nation, it's better you sit down and talk about it, opposed to we fight, because you're going to hear our drums coming for 3 days away. So you already know what you're dealing with if you engage with us. And this is ancient. But then all of a sudden, these people who were riding across Alps with elephants and all this, right? Because people blow things out of proportion. It's not even about Hannibal. Who were those guys with him riding on elephants going across the Alps? Hannibal didn't train those elephants himself. It was those unknown guys. Right? Always. Always the unknown dudes. Right? It's never the known man. Right?
Sorry, Hannibal was the guy that was defeating the Romans?
Yeah, defeating Florida.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
They destroyed the name of Hannibal Lecter.
Exactly.
That's why they call him
Ruined it.
cannibal.
Yeah. Hannibal.
Yeah. Just destroyed a legend.
They know what they're dealing with.
Yes.
Right? So there's all these people, right? There's this one that now we can deal with, for example, Trayvon Martin again, right? Now, there's some serious dynamics in using, like you have psychological issues. If you're using somebody's, pain for gain, you have serious issues. And, we would commonly just say, yeah, slave trauma. Right? This is how serious the slave trauma is, that there's supposedly conscious people. Right? This is why the Moors are separate. Because we deal with the Moroccan flag because it's nationality we're dealing with. All these people that are waving banners, and then there's a man with a red, black, green banner, and he's saying that he's black supremacy and black power and lift up the black woman and all this stuff, but then using somebody's pain for gain, and not even really getting the gain because you just put yourself in double debt. Because there's it's divine and it's national, so there's spirit going on when the physical is going on. And if your physical is not in speed with your spiritual, then you're open to all these other entities that are here that are just looking for an empty box to just slide themselves in and live out that shell until they find the next one to jump in. And this is what's going on with these people that are doing certain things. Because we already know, common sense will tell you, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Right? Like that's not some Moorish ideal. Like that's universal. You ask anybody 5 things, it's gonna break down to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You tell them pick 5 things that you can have right now. Right? It's going to come down to one of those pillars. Right? So they can do their thing. Right? There's Seti. Right? And this is quoting him. The Moors sold our asses to the Jews and the crackers. When the Christians of Europe defeated the Moors were expelled. But so was the Jews expelled because they were in partnership with the Moors. So when you read the secret relationship between blacks and Jews put out by the Nation of Islam, it documents that the Jews went into slavery. So what did the Moors, their masters and partners in Spain do? Went inland on slave raids and sailed the damn ships for the crackers and Jews. In 2003, Seti made his first pilgrimage to Egypt under master teacher Ashraf Kwesi. General Seti went on to take 2 more trips in 2004-2005 for a total of 3 years, which after he was raised into the craft of Tehuti. So Tehuti is the scribe. All right. The scribe was raised into the craft. Tehuti is not English. Craft is English. So you have these 2 words that are 2 different languages that somebody's trying to say. Like, don't forget, this is a master teacher now. This is a master teacher. Like, we all seen Ashraf Kwesi's DVDs and stuff. You know who he is. Right? He pushes that black stuff. Right? Yeah, we got some information, but he's pushing that black stuff. And that black means death, according to science. But nobody's not going to listen to the prophet. It's the master teacher now. Prophet's higher than master teacher. So that means master teacher had to learn something from the prophet. To make it to the level of master teacher, you know about Noble Drew Ali and the prophet. Have to. Because Malachi York's a master teacher and he knows about the prophet. That he even went out and put out his own Circle 7 Quran in honor of the prophet. And put the Circle 7 Quran in the holy tablets for the Nuwapians to have it in their holy book. But they, oh no, nobody, Malachi York doesn't deal with that more stuff no more.
They can see it with their own eyes. They can hear him. They can see him. And they still deny it.
Right? Now, remember that Buddy was raised up in the craft of Tahuti. Right? Second generation of student and strict disciple of Dr. Ben. So this man's a strict disciple of Dr. Ben. We already know. We've seen all the great debate, him versus Aline Bey and him versus Sabir Bey and Moorish Brooklyn Intelligence. Like, he's, you know what I mean, the Moor killer.
And Dr. Ben tells them about what black is and nationality
Oh,
is.
okay. So Dr. Ben claims to have been born the only child of an Afro-Puerto Rican Jewish mother. So Afro-Puerto Rican Jewish, okay, so that's a Moor. Right, named Julia Mata, and an Ethiopian father named Kristen Ben Yakin. Okay, well, Noble Ali said we're not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian. So if he's not Ethiopian, then what is he? Well, he's probably Abyssinian or Habashat or something, which is the Moors, because that's east, what they call Africa, which is part of the inheritance that the Moors got when Egypt fell. So his two family members go back to Moors. This Dr. Ben. He was educated in Puerto Rico, Brazil, Cuba, and Spain, earning degrees in engineering and anthropology. In 1938, Ben-Yakinen earned a BS in civil engineering at the University of Puerto Rico, despite the fact that the University of Puerto Rico did not offer this degree, nor was there an engineering department until 1942. That this man set records. Huh? In 1939, master's degree in architectural engineering from the University of Havana, Cuba. He received doctoral degrees in cultural anthropology and Moorish history from the University of Havana and University of Barcelona, Spain. So these guys out here, Moor hating, but claiming to be second generation student and strict disciple of a man who has a doctoral degree in Moorish history, even though he never really talked about it, because he took the check too. Not to talk about it. Seal your lips.
The death oath.
Yes.
The death oath too.
Right? Seal it up. But on top of Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark. So not only is he a second generation student, strict disciple of Dr. Ben, but he's also a generation student and strict disciple of Dr. Clark. And now this is Dr. Clark talking now. We are a nation searching for a nationality. Forget all the books that you wrote. Forget about every lecture that you've seen of Dr. Clark. How come nobody ever talks about the point where he says out of his own mouth, we are a nation searching for a nationality? And they're the biggest Dr. Ben followers and supporters and have every book, but he's saying that we don't have a nationality.
Yes, Islam.
This is Dr. Clark saying this. Because you answer to such stupid words like Negro, colored, and black.
And it still doesn't address Moorish nationality anywhere. There is that. What's the context?
Because he took the check too. You can't talk about, you can talk about anything. Don't you dare talk about Moorish history. Or we're cutting you.
So and then they were still trying to get the message out there, but they couldn't say it in too many words.
They can't say it because their
Yeah.
tongues are tied. They took the oath.
Then they got
They
these
sealed the tomb.
Yes, yes. And they got these other sellouts trying to keep us suppressed too. And keep everybody in this nigger industry.
Right? Because remember, Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben and these people, they're sincere about their selling out. They're not selling out just, oh yeah, we're just going to sell out the whole nation. They're compromised. Right? People like SETI now, those are the agent sellouts that are disregarding the teachings of their so-called master teachers to go do their own black stuff. What man said, this man is a second generation student and strict disciple of John Henrik Clark. And John Henrik Clark saying, you answer to such stupid words like Negro, colored, and black. You have no nationality. Black tells you how you look, but it doesn't tell you who you are. There's nothing wrong with the word black. Nothing wrong with it at all. But it doesn't relate to a country. The name of every people in the world relate to a country. This is the esteemed, famed scholar that everybody reveres, that say that they're referencing some black thing. And he said this, and nobody changed their tune. Everybody's still pushing the black thing and saying that they're repping him. And I'm supposed to be down with it? Like, yeah, sure, you know, yeah, let's just do an event. A Moors and Blacks event. No, sorry, you don't do those ones.
And then he said that connects you directly to the land.
Land. Doesn't matter if he said country. He's talking about land.
He said directly to the land.
Right?
And this is not hearsay information.
This is,
Yeah.
yeah. Out of his own mouth. It's on YouTube, right there, sitting there. You know what I mean? And no one's not gonna, yeah, you know. Dr. Clark said, and then Dr. Ben has a doctorate in Moorish history. And in all the movies, everybody's dressing up like a Moor. And nobody's dressing up like black guys in the European movies. Only in the black guys movies, the black guys dress up like black guys. But in the European movies, the black guys dress up like royalty. And kings and queens and, you know, the hidden bum that just knows how to do everything. And could jump over stuff. And fly and whatever. Right? Pushing that agenda of the black agenda. And all their leaders that they say that they uphold and that's their leader, right? They're gonna bypass it. Mandrake the magician. Sorry for Mandrake.
I never heard of him. I might have heard of him, but I don't know his name.
Mandrake. Mandrake is a magician whose work is based on an unusual fast hypnotic technique. As noted in captions, when Mandrake gestures hypnotically, his subjects see illusions, and Mandrake has used his technique against a variety of villains, including gangsters, mad scientists, extraterrestrials, and characters from other dimensions. One potential pitfall of the franchise is Mandrake's manservant Lothar, an African prince who dressed like a strong man in an animal skin and a fez, and left his kingdom to instead serve as the white hero's bodyguard and valet.
It's a comic strip?
Yeah. Right? Mandrake. Yeah, everybody knows Mandrake. Right? Especially people who are like, you know, 70s and before. Right? 80s. Just set that around.
I remember this guy.
Yeah. It's funny how certain things just see things and right?
Entertaining.
Very.
Yeah. Way out of one.
Right.
Back in them days.
Right, we just wanted to put this one out there. More Beer Company. Old Freddie Walker. This rich, dark, full-bodied old ale is like liquid Christmas pudding, sure to bring your festival joy. One for the connoisseur. 7.5 bottle conditioned beer, brewed and bottled in Somerset, UK. Right? More beer company. They even have it on the thing, on the bottle, going around the world.
That's
Right?
so cool.
UK. Some people from the UK started a beer company called More Beer Company. Not a black beer company, not the African beer company, not the Nuwapian beer company, not the Nation of Islam beer company, the More Company.
That's the big.
Right? Like, how much clearer do you want it to be?
And it ain't the Negro beer company.
They're not the Negro beer company either. Right? So, what the people have to do is proclaim their nationality. Because that's what Noble Drew Ali came and he said, and that's what he's going to do.
Hold on here, it says Freddie Walker. It's an English name.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the connection.
That the Moors know that, the English know that they're Moors.
Well, the English are?
You didn't say
I
the
got lots
English.
to learn.
It's not an English beer.
Yeah, but it's got the
It's not a
word
British
Freddie
beer,
Yeah.
German beer, French beer, Latin beer. More beer. More beer company.
That's what
Of
it
all the
says.
worlds in the world that they can use for their beer company, for this dark ale that they have in this dark bottle.
Yeah.
And they were proud of it.
Yeah.
The More Beer Company. Bottle even proclaims its nationality. And then these people don't want it.
But why did they put Freddie Walker on it?
Just to prove the point. That even Walkers are Moors. And if you go research the Walker name, you're probably gonna find a Moorhead on the Walker name crest.
There's Hiram Walkers in Windsor, that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
Hiram, probably Jewish.
Harold?
Hiram?
Yeah,
Hiram
okay.
Walkers?
So who's Harold? In Masonry.
Hiram Walker.
Okay, but in Masonry, who's Harold?
I don't know.
Hiram a bit.
Right?
The more.
It's connection.
Right? Like, how much more, Noble Drew said, I gave you everything it
Yeah.
takes to
Something to
Yeah.
look up now. Hey, don't feel bad. I came across a guy about 80 years old, and he knew he had more in him too. And he was from
We
Malta.
talked about him last night too.
Yeah, he was from
Yeah.
Malta. And he started telling me about some Moorish knowledge and history that their family was kind of ashamed and embarrassed that they had Moorish blood in them, even though they looked pure European. You know? Maybe that's why you're here. Something vibrating in you.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So the thing is proclaim your nationality, right? So regardless of what you've been told, you have people putting up these pictures online with Europeans climbing up stacks of paper, and there's so much paper, and they're saying that that's what the Moors say is their way to freedom. Put it on the record right now. The Moorish movement, the Moorish nationality, the Moorish perspective, the Moorish idea, the Moorish culture, the Moorish whatever it is, has nothing to do with having a card in your pocket and having some papers. Whether you bought those papers for $500 or whether you just print it out yourself. Whether you know what the law is and you write it on that paper, or whether somebody gives you one and you just switch the name. And it's not about those things. It's about having it in your mind so that you can beat it regardless of what the situation is. Regardless, we have to make the move, right? Because pointing out all these stuff is not to bash some people. It's to show the blatant hypocrisy that's only happening because you don't have a nationality. Dr. Clark told y'all, like, yo, you don't have any nationality, right? Notice he didn't say we don't have any nationality. He said you don't have any nationality.
It's like that YouTube video where the Moors giving the cop shit for taking his son. He says, you guys
Right.
have no nationality.
Exactly. He didn't show anybody any papers or nothing. Words. This is knowledge. He didn't have to show them a card or anything like that. Right?
But he's telling the cops that, listen, you're American or something like that, and it's not a nationality.
Yeah. And they let his son out. Right? Why they let his son out? Because the father's a national.
He knew stuff, man.
And that's what it comes down to. Knowing the stuff.
It is to a point where someone can take somebody as child. I mean, like literally.
Like literally.
Kidnapping.
I mean, you can't do this in the bush; they will kill you. Whether it's an animal or a human, I mean, how is it that in the civilized so-called nations, people are coming and taking somebody else's child? Like, how is it done? I mean,
Yeah, just because they have no nationality. If you have no nationality, you become slaughterable.
Yes, I can see that.
well, damage.
They'll drink your blood and everything. Just because.
He's fighting for his child. Kill him. Kill the nigger.
Right?
He's not allowed to have emotions.
Don't have to kill the cracker. There were 5 crackers there. More than do one damn thing about lifting up anything to go smash nobody's face and shoot anybody or nothing. They told him, yo, it's not up the cracker.
He stood on a square.
Right? That's what the square's for. Stand on. It's there. Stand on. But if you don't stand on it, somebody's not going to stand on it for you. Right? And that was his test. That was his personal test. That, you know what I mean? Nobody draw here said, your turn. See how you do with this one. See how serious you're on this info.
The facts were no disguise.
Right.
So when he comes up with the facts, that shut down the whole matrix.
Like,
it shut down
big
the
glitch
whole
in the
corporation down.
Yep. Right. And that's what everybody, every individual needs to be doing.
Because they can't lie to themselves when they hear the facts.
Yeah, because everything's there. All the buildings are there. Like, if they leave, like, everything's just there for us to use. But not because I say so, because the prophet said, yo, they're gonna have to leave. Time's gonna come where they're gonna have to leave. It might not be in my generation. It might, like, but that time's gonna come when I do show allegiance to stay and follow the principles, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, or we'll even give you the boat to go back. Since everything's ours now, so like we can do what we have to do with everything. Just because of nationality. Right? Why destroy, you know, like all of Marcus Garvey's work over milk fraud for $3 or something? You know what I mean? Why? Is it really that they did something? Who really did it to him? Right? Who really did it to him? It wasn't like him. He was told sorcery got him. Sorcery distracted him from what the objective was, claiming nationality.
What kind of sorcery is that?
Say that again?
What kind of sorcery is that?
The sorcery that he was told and he's still not doing what he was told to do by the prophet. The prophet even came and said, you're the forerunner. Now, you like, they tell me in nobody's in none of Noble Drew Ali's literature or in Marcus Garvey's literature. Noble Drew Ali's not mentioned about, I'm the prophet, I'm the prophet's forerunner. So you need to listen to me. See this nationhood stuff that we're talking about? It has to get fixed up because the UNIA is garbage. We're not Negro, black, colored. We're Moors. You guys look, Steve, I'm right here with Deuce Muhammad Ali right now. We both have our feathers on. We're telling you, we're Moors. He came from all the way on the other side of the world to come here to tell you that you're Moors. I'm telling you that you're Moors. And the Prophet came and he said that you're Moors. That's what should have went down. Then Far Muhammad, he would jump on board and be like, yeah, those guys are really Moors. Because I'm Arab and I was a member of the temple. I have my fez on too. But no, none of that happened. Agents, sellouts, that we've been following for the past 80 years, 90 years, and don't want to sever the ties and get behind the Prophet, the real deal, the option that you never even tried once. Try everything else, but this one option, that one button right there, you know what I mean? You don't want to push it. But there's no label on it, so I'm not going to push that button. But you push every other button, and the machine's still going out of whack. Yeah. I'm only going to push the black button. It's a white button, so it has to be bad. Cracker put that there.
Yeah.
Because when we say that Noble Drew Ali, when we say that name, Noble Drew Ali, right? When we say that Noble Drew Ali, if you're Moorish American, take a few minutes, go to wherever you have your 101 questionnaire. Right? Get your 101 questionnaire, or go call the other Moors on the phone, or call the black people, call the Negro people, right? Whoever, and read the bottom of the 101 questionnaire to them. Right? Bottom after the document. After Roberta W. Connell, Notary Public. There's something under that that's in small print. Right? And it says Sea Herds Revised Statute, Chapter 32, 36. Then there's a star, and it says or appointed, and then there's another star, and it says or wardens, vestrymen, or whatever name they may adopt. And then that's all that it says. And when you go and read Herds Revised Statute, you realize why Noble Drew Ali had the warnings before the meeting that had to be read. Right? Had the 101 questionnaire telling you that, Negro means this, and black means this, and Africa is really not Africa, it's really a Mexican, and, the 5 principles are, and who are you? You're Moorish American, you're not Negro because Negro means this, and you're not colored because colored means anything painted, varnished, or dyed, and so everything was laid out and put down. And then there's another warning. So he gave warnings, he's giving all these warnings, but Moors still got church going on, and, you know what I mean? People carrying their fez in a bag to the temple. You know, you come to the temple, take out the fez, they're Moors. Put the fez in the bag, you're not Moors now. Standing in lines, having to pay tickets and all this type of stuff, when that wasn't really supposed to be going on. That you were supposed to be taking your place amongst the affairs of men. And he warned people of everything, like from the start, what we talked about, to right now. Right? Noble Drew Ali warned us about it all. In this reading, divine warning to the nation. Not just a divine warning, but a divine warning to the nations, plural. Nations. Not the nation, not the Moorish nation, not the Moorish American nation, nations.
Islam. I like how you pointed that out. I like that.
Because he's the prophet, and he's universal.
Not just the Moors.
It's not just the Moor stuff.
The nations.
We showed you yesterday, the Filipinos saying we're not Filipino, we're Moro.
Yes.
We're Moro. Don't call us Filipino. Call us Moro. That's our name. Right?
The Filipinos aren't Filipinos?
No, King Philip is what became Filipino. Philip.
Yeah, they're Moors. They're Moors.
Yeah.
All around there's more.
Such friendly Moors.
Yep, that's Moors for you.
Well, Moors are friendly. They're always laughing and giggling and foolishness. But I want to say something to the sellouts. And then you get the sellouts and you get the buy-ins. They can't sell it unless somebody buys into it. You see what I mean? That's just like church with their congregation. They bought into it, you know. That's when they pass around the lunch basket for the lunch money. So it wouldn't work if they didn't have the buy-ins.
But it's deep because, like, the thing is, it'll work because it's set up too in such a way that they get a certain, as a pastor, or a priest, if you've been acknowledged, you have enough information, you know enough, then you get what is called a 501c3. When you get the 501c3, then you're getting all these tax benefits, and you're getting fiat from the government. So when you go to the congregation now, you have a little bit of backing.
Yes.
Then they don't tell their congregation that. They just pretend like, oh, we need money. We have a little start, but we need more.
Yes,
We
yes.
need more and more and more, and they always need more. Temple's always broke.
Yes.
People are always broke. But the pastor's rolling around in a Maybach, in a big posh mansion,
Back in the day, Cadillacs.
and not telling them about, not telling them about the 501c3.
Yeah.
It's blinged out ribbons.
I'd like to
So-
say something else real quick, more. Excuse me. What's that called when people go to war and they come back and they're all messed up from seeing their partner blowing up?
Post-traumatic stress syndrome.
What is it again?
Post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yeah,
Traumatic stress.
post-traumatic syndrome.
Stress.
I think this is what the so-called black people have. Niggers, blacks, whatever you want to call them, you know.
Stockholm, in their case, it's Stockholm.
Yeah, we got Stockholm too. I think that's what's happened because they can't, even though it's right in front of their faces and our faces, for some reason, even so-called Moors can't let it go or grab on. I don't know what's going on.
Well, the thing is too. It's not like it's not what it appears to be. Like it's not post-traumatic slavery syndrome.
No,
Like-
I'm not just thinking.
Like
I didn't say
Caucasians
slavery.
are suffering post-traumatic slavery
Yeah.
syndrome.
Yeah, I
Like
didn't.
Negroes, blacks, and colors aren't suffering that.
Yeah.
They're suffering like
This lack of knowledge.
thousands of years of war syndrome with each other and with you know different entities and like they weren't like their ancestors weren't in slavery.
Yeah.
They were already like depressed. That's why they agreed to be servants.
But I didn't really say.
Like you want to come
slavery.
work in my kitchen? Okay, fine, yeah, because they're already depressed.
I was talking about more war.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So and wars with the conquistadors or whatever. You know what I mean?
The psych war really got them.
Yeah. But then if you don't know what it is that got you, like you'll never get healed.
Yes, yes, I like that. Yes.
Like if you think that, you know what I mean? You have tapeworms and really you have a headache, and you're like, you know, taking drinking chamomile tea and like doing
Or
all this
better-
stuff and drinking Pepto-Bismol, like you're never gonna get rid of your headache.
Or a quick, better one, so we can get back to the class. Almost like a junkie that doesn't want to admit that he has a problem or she has a problem.
Yeah.
You gotta admit that you have a problem to get
Yeah,
over
but
it.
even when they admit, they're not admitting the proper thing. Like if they ever force this reparations thing, they're gonna be poorly surprised. Like sadly disappointed.
Oh yes, yes.
They're gonna say, oh no, not you.
'Cause
And then they see all the people who got money is all like white people, so called.
yes, yes, yes.
Then they're gonna be going nuts because they didn't read, they didn't study. Like they really didn't study, and it's a trick.
Yes.
Right? It's a big trick. Especially when you're not supposed to pay reparations aren't paid to individuals anyway. Again, study.
To nations.
It's a nation. So speaking of nations, we'll just read divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to the national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. Right? So just a note, in the news cycle, like the president or prime minister of Venezuela nationalized the oil company, and then on BBC they had an expert and they asked the expert, well, are they expected to receive sanctions for what they just did? Because there's an oil company that has a lot of interest in the resources that they nationalized, and now they're kind of out of luck. And the expert was like, well, no, like, I mean, there's no action that anybody can take against them. Just their stuff. Like, and the BBC person was like, okay, you know, kind of like they expected them to say something, but there was nothing. There's nothing that could be done, right? And so that just shows you, right? Because it's a sin to be in that position where you're begging instead of just taking control of your property.
And then also to check what he's saying, right? Cling.
Yeah.
Like
Clinging,
if you're
like-
clinging onto something, your position is so weak and feeble and desperate. You know what I mean? That somebody just get off me. Get the fling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Islam.
Islam.
With that principle, it's a psychology where the re-education of the inner perception, because the inner perception knows, but means you have to move to re-educate that inner perception, and that's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a lazy thing. You don't want to re-educate. Why? Just re-educate that perception, because you know already. So you re-educate yourself.
It's like they do know and they're afraid, but like you said,
To re-educate.
Yes.
And the re-education is definitely perhaps the answer to
Well,
that kind
that's
of
what this Morse knowledge is: re-education.
Re-education.
Know
Re-education.
thyself.
That's right.
And this is what's happening now. They can't stop it. Even
Embrace re-education.
Yeah, yes.
You know?
And they can't stop it.
I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to that state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law-abiders and receive their divine rights as citizens, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, and they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government, and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce belong to the citizens alone, and without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth, and I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. So, you know, that president of Venezuela, she's helping do the work.
Yes, Islam.
Because, like he says, gold and silver and commerce belong to the citizens alone, and without your nationality, citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. So that company has no true wealth because they weren't, because they, you know what I mean? They forgot to ask the citizens, hey, can we take this over? They just said, okay, let's do a business with some people who call themselves the representatives. And, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so now they're out millions and billions.
And can I
And
just
everyone's expecting that, well, there has to be some compensation. No, they were fiat. They're fraud.
exactly.
So they're just getting,
Mhm.
and they might even get sued.
No.
Fling up. She's talking about
Yeah.
suing them
Yeah,
afterwards, too.
The fling up the suit. I like to
And
show
people are expecting that they should be able to sue her. And
Sue her.
the expert was telling her, like,
Yeah.
no, they can't sue
yes,
them.
yes,
They can't
yes,
do anything.
Yes. And
the
that's
prophet was telling you that.
and that's the fraud right there, and that's the sorcery. That you want to see sorcery? You're asking him about sorcery?
Mhm.
Let me show you sorcery. They got plastic, what they call money. We give it energy to it's plastic. Tell me that's not sorcery. How plastic and fake is that?
Yes.
Do we got plastic money now?
Mhm.
And we believe it's real, don't we?
Yeah, if you don't know, for people out
And
there,
you don't know sorcery.
yeah, if you don't know, for people out there, the currency of the corporate Canada right now is some plastic money.
That's right.
I've seen it.
It's like it's plastic money. This is for like the online people.
You can go to the
anything
laundromat
big
and
on
come
them,
out
huh?
good.
No.
Nobody has nothing big on them. Yeah, it's plastic. It's like just go check it out
Yeah.
online. The new
Yeah.
No, I have some on.
Do you?
Canadian. No, this is for
Yeah.
like online.
Can
people.
you show them online what it looks like
$50.
if they're trying to explain to it what it looks
Yeah.
like?
So
Yeah.
you want to show them what it,
Hologram
right?
movies
Because
and all that.
You wash it and
Because
it smells
the-
good.
Because they don't know what it looks like
the
on
friggin'
Hold on, brother. You know what? Give me the 50, and I'll get back.
And a roll out.
I'll buy some more beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what it looks like, this is
More
really
beer.
great. Because this is sorcery at the
Yeah, this is
highest.
sorcery, right?
One time it was cotton and something else, right?
Yeah.
But now it's gone into plastic land.
So the gold,
Try to put the camera so they can really
Yeah, yeah.
see through it and everything.
the gold and
There you go.
silver and
Yeah.
commerce belong to the citizens alone,
Yes.
but the fiat belongs to the corporations, right?
Yes.
So this is the new,
Does anybody got a lighter on them so
$50.
you can show the light from behind or
right?
something?
And then you can see like, oh yeah, you can see right through it right here. Now you can see through the bill, right?
Brother, watch
Like I know you can see that.
Here, let him just put the light on it from behind so they can see.
Right? Yeah.
Let the light shine
So you can see this right here.
on the
Jason,
sauce.
Right.
Jason plastic.
Yeah.
Like real plastic money.
So all you plastic
Right.
chasers, say,
Right.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
all
they're not
those
paper chasing. No paper chasing and
all those
it's-
songs you're gonna have to like take those down off of YouTube and do a
You have to
remix
make
or something
remix
because
now.
it's not paper anymore.
So therefore,
It's
that's
not paper anymore.
that's
Go
really
put-
worthless.
Go chase your plastic.
In a real sense, it's worthless.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
I think
Plastic
that's
joke.
hey, that's brand new.
But it's a sign, right?
Yeah.
Because it was the other one was worthless too, but now it's
What,
just
this year?
doing this is to tell you like, hey,
Yeah.
if you get it, then do what
Yeah.
you gotta do. Nationalize so that you'll have something of wealth.
Yeah.
Right.
Put it through the washing machine or the
Or you'll have
dishwasher.
these
It
pieces of
comes
Yeah.
out.
plastic
Prime
which could be worth nothing.
Is that not sorcery though?
Yeah, apparently ministers though are, you know,
Is that amazing?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that amazing
Yeah.
when you think about it? Plastic
It's a joke.
fiats.
Yeah.
Even though fiat's fake.
Next
but-
level.
yeah, go ahead, brother.
So, yeah, I'll
Islam.
just finish the reading.
Yeah.
Is it that late already?
So, the wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce belong to the citizens alone, and without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. I'm depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people and I desire their unity and mine back to their own free national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, Chinese, English, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name. because they place their trust upon issues and names formed by their forefathers, as opposed to issues and names that are just made up or from yesterday or last week or whatever, which obviously makes sense. The word Negro alludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word color alludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was enforced in 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men were declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments to the salvation of our people and citizens. So there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens of my people in this government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. And I, the prophet, do hereby believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers, and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of men that have never done them any good but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way, and without understanding they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin, and there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of acting, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses, but I have traveled in the South and have examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light. From the prophet.
Islam.
LTPFJ.
Islam.
Yes.
So he traveled in the South. And you know what he saw in the South? He saw Europeans working as slaves. And then he saw Negroes not claiming their nationality and then complaining and then standing in lines and doing stuff that they weren't supposed to do. And that's what he saw.
He was bringing a re-education of that sort of attitude.
Right. Right.
Re-educate is a tough job.
Let me shake your hand, because I know you're going through a struggle, actually, brother. I know you're re-educating. I know you are more. It's not easy, because we're young and unborn.
Yes.
But when it comes to an elder,
Re-educate. Yeah. Already.
You already know what knowledge is, and you do not lie to yourself. No
Commitment.
matter what stage in our life we are
Gut
at.
commitment.
Yes, Islam.
Re-education.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that's why you keep saying that, because I know it ain't easy.
I believe it.
Yeah.
And I want people to understand you've got to re-educate to get anywhere.
Yes, yes.
Lazy.
Yeah.
You just want to take everything as is. Re-educate.
Yeah.
From your gut.
Yeah.
Oh, you know from your gut.
Oh, I know. Yeah. All
It's
right.
just like what? It's just like when they talk about with Garvey.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that one speech, you know, I mean, that Garvey did where he just like ripped everybody to shred.
Mm-hmm.
He just ripped everybody. Like yo, you are nothing.
Yes. They meant it though.
Yo,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
you know, they just thought he was, you know, angry black man,
Yes, yes.
right? Like imagine what Noble Drew Ali was, you know, the atmosphere
Yeah.
when he's finished talking, you know, like the atmosphere of the League of Nations
Mm-hmm.
when Haile Selassie stopped talking.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
like, what do we do after this? Are we supposed to clap? Are we supposed to leave? Like,
Yeah.
what's not gonna look bad? You know, he's not black. We have to be careful.
Yeah. This is everything. But reality is so
The
amazing.
reality is amazing.
It's supernatural.
Yeah.
And that's when people hear sorcery, they think it's something negative. When they can use it for negative, but the energy is so powerful, and they don't want us to know our energy level and our vibration level. That's the higher self and the lower self, and we're vibrating on the low self right now, and that's why the planet. A lot of people's gonna get this knowledge, but they're not gonna get it fast enough. So the planet, Allah, will give them a nice spanking.
Because what did prophet say? Remove the sin to save the earth from enormous earthquakes and whatever.
They think it's
we
a
look
joke.
around and stuff and we see all this stuff going on. Obviously the sin hasn't been removed, right?
Yes. And it's
Right?
getting
Or we
closer.
wouldn't be having any stuff going on. Crazy weather.
Tornadoes.
Hail today.
Tornadoes
You know?
in Woodbridge.
Like,
Ripping
tornadoes
off
in
the
Woodbridge.
roof.
You know
Real
what I mean?
cars. Like,
Like,
that's not supposed to happen. That's supposed to happen in Kansas.
Yeah.
We're in Ontario. This is Toronto, Canada. We don't get tornadoes, but where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
It actually blew off the roof and tossed the van around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
But it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a lot of stuff is happening, right? They don't think it's happening.
That's the key too.
Yeah.
That's the key too, right?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yes.
Where's the stuff not happening?
Thank you.
You know, right? Where is it not happening?
Yeah, it is.
Wherever it's happening, yeah, there's sin there.
Yeah.
For sure, there's something going on there.
Yes, yes.
Right? And they'll do things here to try to, draw that
Energy, yeah.
energy. You know, we might get some tremors or something.
And this is what they're trying to whip up now with this young brother.
Yeah.
And try to stay
Yeah.
on this
Right.
foolishness.
Stay on that frequency, that
Yeah.
vibration,
Mm-hmm.
right?
People to support it.
Yeah.
Yes. Because the energy's powerful.
Because it's only them that's really backing that
Mm-hmm.
foolishness.
But he's not even a European. I don't understand why they pushing the race issue.
Right?
I mean,
Right? Because
Yeah,
of a name.
yeah.
Because of a name, they're pushing the race issue, right? Check the play, right? He's from Peru or Mexico or something, right? With a last name Zimmerman, right? And they're pushing he's a European guy. He's a European guy, his name's Zimmerman. Okay, well, if you're African and your name's Johnson or something, doesn't that mean that you're European too?
Yeah.
Right.
How come you're not calling your spade when you want to call our next man's spade?
Yeah.
Right? Right? You want to look in next people's hand, but you don't want to look in your hand. And then you want to say you won the game.
Well, that's how ironic it is. All you gotta do is take one look at the man and you know.
You just look at
He
him.
ain't European. There's no two ways about it. So if you're gonna fall for the race game, how stupid
Yeah.
can you be?
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How stupid can you be? And look at the thing for what it is. But don't try to put it down as a race game, because this man is just as unconscious as so many other of us who don't know who we are as well. And this is how come he's the one who pulled the trigger in
Yeah.
the first place.
Yeah.
But he ain't European.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe somebody with Zimmerman in their name and his background is European, but hey,
Yeah.
he got a little bit of the tar brush in
Yeah.
him too. Yeah.
we kill each other every day, and
Yeah, it's not.
there ain't nobody saying nothing about
Nobody say
it.
nothing
Well,
about it.
that's the whole point, though.
100 young black kids die every day in different states, and all you see is
And it's like the treasurer saying too. Like in the beginning, they didn't even show his face. All they showed was, yeah, Zimmerman did it. Zimmerman did it. Zimmerman
There you
did
go.
it. Zimmerman did it. You know, tell you 10,000 times and then it sticks.
So when you finally see them, you're surprised. But by that time, they're so onto the black thing that you got to play the race card and get everybody all emotional again.
But it's not even played. Even the race card is not played.
Right.
Because America, people think that there's a racist going on. That racist thing is done. It's over. Now it's individual. If you can't defend yourself,
Something.
you'll play the race card.
With music,
everything.
popular culture.
Because I mean, and this is what like what Noble Drawley is saying, that our only hope is our paper. And 4 temples or whatever have a newspaper. But there's all these people who claim to be, we're more science temple, but they don't have a paper. Or they're not contributing to a paper. Or they don't support the paper that's already out. You know what I mean? They have Grand Sheik got stacks and stacks of papers in storage. Because he decided to get, this state, okay, so there's about 10,000 bars. So, okay, we need about 20,000 papers. Each more takes their cut, and, okay, yeah, we'll move. But, okay, so, because Prophet said, give me your money, but if you don't give it to me, I'm going to get it anyway. So, like, what are you really going to do? Right? Like he said. Right?
Okay. Islam. Now, on College Street is a big piece of real estate called the United Negro Improvement Association.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a Moorish science temple.
Yeah.
So, and now we all used to go there and be so proud of Garveyite and all that, calling it the Negroes. Then it disappeared.
Really?
Yeah, on College Street, College and Brunswick there. It's a big building called the United Negro Improvement Association. That was a Moorish temple. In a real sense.
Yeah.
Which caused a re-education of the understanding of what was happening
What was
then.
really going on then. Right.
See, but back then, that's 45 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And the divine warning is for that.
Things like that.
Yeah, because even reading the warning, there's gonna be stuff in there that you're gonna have to like, what's this guy talking about? Let me go to the library and check this out, or let me go ask somebody something, because I don't know what he means when he says constitutional. Like, what do you mean? There's no constitution. What do you mean there's no? The 14th and 15th Amendment is what saved us from slavery. Like, what do you mean that's not? That's fraud. How is that fraud? Right? That's all I have to do. Just ask yourself the question. Okay, why is he saying constitutional and saying the 14th and 15th Amendment has nothing to do with anything? Because you're the ones of the land. You set up the whole stuff.
Even the vibration of the number, it's dangerous. 13 and 14, like literally you can just bury people under under those numbers. Like, Friday 13, where everybody thinks it's negative, run away from it. Like, when you look at the numbers,
It's one of the greatest numbers there is.
That too, yeah.
no, well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. That's why I'm telling you, it's easy to use that to
And
bury.
then that's that sorcery again. That like when you think about it, they're gonna show the General George Washington with the man behind him. And everybody's gonna say, oh yeah, the black guy behind him. Right? But when they talk about black people in slavery, they say, oh yeah, the slaves and okay, but so that's not a black guy standing behind him, because he's not dressed like a black guy. Yeah, like
Hey, slave, come over here and take a picture with me. Hey, nigger, come here. I want you to take a picture, you black master. Come stand by George Washington.
Yeah, come stand by your daddy.
Yeah.
But in those days,
Jacket's nice, yeah.
Like an outfit.
but in those days, I don't think if the slaves had any color, because as far as I know, anyone who was on a high knowledge was a master, and he had slaves.
Yeah.
Whether they were Europeans or Arabians or
Right.
What I was getting at before.
Yeah?
Right? So when you do the research on books that you may not be easy to get, but nowadays it's easy to get. They'll tell you between 1609 and the early 1800s, half to 3/4 of the slaves in the Americas were Europeans.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
no one speaks about it. Like
No,
literally.
no. It's bait and switch.
And
Exactly.
and
A lot of Irish.
if
A lot of
pork
Irish.
chops,
Yeah.
the Portuguese
But
started
that's-
slavery. When did the blonde thing? Because now everybody's chasing a blonde hair, thinking, yeah, he's the cracker, he's the master slave. You know?
Yeah.
Well, he had nothing to do with slavery because the Portuguese are all black hair,
Right.
and they're the main cause of the whole entire slavery.
Right.
And yet no one is really saying anything about Portugal.
But the term wasn't slavery, Islam, it was serfdom,
Well,
which was in 17th century full force. So the name, it was said slavery, but they called it serfdom.
Right.
As it
Then,
is.
right, and in America they call it indentured servant.
Indentured servant.
Exactly.
So,
So-
you know, European will come off the boat and this person was indentured servant. And then you just bypass it because you don't see that
Yeah.
SLAV there. So you bypass it and he came with $10 in his pocket.
'Cause I remember-
or 10 pence or whatever. Like
I remember growing up in Africa, you couldn't call me black or any other individual in my own neighborhood. They will literally kill you if you call them black.
So what happened? Because I've always wondered that. How did the world adopt this word black in a country,
Media.
like Africa,
Media.
and just accept it?
Media
so
does
now
it.
that you're telling me that, how did they psychologically
You're up at the
embed black,
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
I didn't
Like
get
you
you.
said, they didn't accept it. So what made them accept it, or do they still not?
We still we still
You still
don't
don't?
know
Okay.
until Mr. James Brown and all kind of niggas
Media
come out
propaganda.
singing about
Oh,
it.
they-
We got hypnotized now.
Another form of sorcery.
Okay.
Another form of sorcery.
So
Yes.
Hollywood.
Because I've always
Yeah.
wondered that.
Hollywood. Yeah.
I
You
mean,
know, and that's true. James Brown
It's,
running around.
uh,
Say it loud. I'm
Yeah,
saying
but
it
we-
loud.
Yeah, and
And
Hollywood
everybody's saying it loud.
We have to
Yeah.
understand how the English language came about too. And they say that a lot of it came from Latin, which is Moorish.
yeah.
yes.
And Moorish in Latin, when you look up our translation of the word black,
Africans who taught English.
but the point about this whole thing, and this is where many of us, if we get to the root and the source of this black thing, and look at it and start to connect the dots, and to see how we became black, then maybe we won't be so proud to be so black after all.
Mhm.
Moorish is our language, and that's something. I'm sorry, Latin is Moorish, right? You don't know. We don't know that coming up. We just think it's something the Europeans had, like Greek. But it was our language to begin with. And if most of these other languages sprang up from Latin, then so we were the source of these words, the black and the Negro and all these other words.
Indeed.
And when we defined these words in our ancient languages, we didn't use them to define ourselves. The color black was used to define death. So we didn't call ourselves black. They started calling us black, right? They started calling us black when? In the 16th century, somewhere around there?
Yeah,
That's right.
But that was really more is calling pale skinned people black.
Exactly, that's right.
Because they're calling them bleak.
But that's what I'm saying.
So,
But it-
yeah,
in order to understand Latin, you have to know more ancient, like Hebrew, Arabic, Aramic,
okay,
in order to get to the Latin.
right.
Because once you hear the word la, before you get to teen, once you hear la, you know what you're talking about. And that's why AL and EL, which one of
Yeah.
the titles,
Yeah.
Elah or Eloah or Elijah, Elah, which is the EL, that actually the Arabs use. And the Jews would use AL, which becomes Al, All, La, whichever way. So in order to understand this language, we all do speak Latin, but we don't know, especially the English
More
speakers.
sorcery.
And then
Yes.
you better speak Latin because when you go into the court,
Well,
that's still the language. And then when you're in the street and in school, they're gonna tell you Latin's a dead language.
it is dead language because majority of us do not know.
Don't use it.
Right.
So it's dead
Dead because right,
until you revival.
right.
And no one should actually teach you a language. It's something that's in you.
But the church would bring on Latin, and the congregation didn't know what was happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that
Because
too.
Indeed.
So the court's using these words. The
Church
church
uses it.
And the congregation, they don't know what's going on.
But you're just supposed to,
but they follow.
you know, consider it to be.
Well, that's where we became
Classics.
Negro, blacks, and colors. We're
Classics.
dead in the eyes of law.
Right.
Color of the law. We're dead. What's the word again? Servular mortus.
Just a little more tooth.
Yes.
That's Latin.
Even the Indians being brought.
It's being used.
You know,
Yeah.
the Indians being brought into the Caribbean were called indentured servants.
Yeah.
But there were slaves coming in to work.
Yeah.
But they use a different term to bring them in.
Make it more palatable.
We indentured servants.
You're gonna work for me
You
for
can
the rest of
digest
your
it.
life, but you're not a slave.
You're indentured.
Well, that's happening now.
Yeah.
During the Reconquest, right? That was the whole thing, to stop us from using Latin.
There's power in it.
Right? And then people didn't stop. They just said, well, oh, this is Spanish. Oh, and this one over here is French. And this one over here is Portuguese. No, it was just more speaking Latin. Different areas of that same region of the world.
Re-education, brothers and sisters. Re-education.
Yeah.
That's a glorious
That's
thing.
why they ask you when they see a Moor with the fez or whatever, and even if they say, "Are you Moroccan?" and then they'll say, "Can you speak Arabic?"
Yeah.
They want to see.
But the Arabic that they actually speak is not even real Arabic.
Yes, 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 yes.
It's a totally street language. All the Arabians in the Middle East, they don't really speak Arabic.
Yes.
Because they're more of Europeans, they're more of Germans.
Yes.
And
you speak Arabic, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it's amazing because once I found out that back in the slavery days, majority of the translators in the ships were so-called Negroes, I said, hold on. How was he a translator if he was the slave? Because when you look at the movies, you see a black guy coming out speaking to the natives. And you say, hold on, why can't the European come out and speak to these guys?
He was a teacher.
So from there on, I knew that we were not from the movies.
It's like Matthew Day Costa, right? If you look him up, they'll say, you know, he was brought, he's a Portuguese-born, you know, more noble family, brought to the Americas to translate, to speak the language of the natives in the Americas. Although nobody knows how he knew that language, that's why they brought him. So no one's gonna investigate this. Let's just leave it as it is and move on.
That's why
But not taking nothing away
You call him
from
Matthew De Costa. Forget the why.
Islam, Morris.
And not ask the
Yeah.
question, most important question, which is why.
Is why, and they won't ask why. But the thing is, we can't even really blame the Europeans because they're showing us more than our own people are showing us.
Yeah.
That's why we're seeing it in the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can see it in Hollywood movies. We can see it in Bollywood movies. We can see it in Asiatic Oriental movies, like, you know, Japanese movies, Korean movies. You see the feds, they'll let you know who you are, except their own people right now.
The camera captures it.
Yeah.
And,
No, they put it in there. It's not by, that's why there's producers, writers. It's not by accident what we're watching.
Man,
And they let us know about more and more knowledge than you can even imagine.
And that's what
They just
Charlie
can't
said.
come out and tell you who you are, but we'll show you who you are. You know?
We'll even dress up like you.
yeah.
Yes.
We'll even dress up like you.
There it goes.
Symbolism. Symbolism.
We'll even dress up like you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what they say?
Yes.
Like you can't make the horse drink, right? You can lead the horse to the water, but
I was actually shocked about
You see the story.
1994. I had a lawyer one time, and I went to his house, which was his office too. And all the pictures in the living room is all Moorish. So I'm saying, hold on, why do you have these pictures of these Negroes? He goes,
Yes.
he goes, oh, those are the Moors in Morocco.
Re-education.
So I said, what? So I said,
That's
what's really going on? Why are you guys trying to hide the truth? He goes, well, if you go to any house, you will find these pictures. My dad's house, my grandmother's house, and we all more. So I said, what do you mean we all more? We start talking, and he goes, okay, let's get back to your case.
So you're getting too far.
Yeah, you're getting too far.
Far in the rabbit hole.
So I always wanted to know, why did the Jews choose to go and live in every spot of the globe so they can speak all languages? So I said, hold it. But this is one thing that we had. We were all over the globe and we spoke all dialects. Now they took off because you'll have Brazilian, Jamaican Jew, Indian Jew, Japanese Jew, like literally. So I said, what was the... From there on, then I knew why they were doing this.
Yeah.
And why were they practicing law.
Still the birthright. But also to live wherever the future is going to be. Moors will never die.
Because
So
they can communicate from the four corners of the earth and make business,
Yeah.
the four
Yeah.
corners of the earth,
Yeah.
without having to move, without having to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because if I have somebody in four corners, it's off. So we can dictate now the world market.
Yeah.
And they just wake up in the morning, 2 hours, their job is done.
That's commerce. International commerce.
And that's where the whole business is in the commerce. And we're not in it.
Exactly.
We don't even want to print a newspaper. We think it's a problem. Why do we need to use like
Language.
If we don't have a publisher, then how will the people know who you are? And they prefer to go buy some liquor and porno magazines instead of. No wonder the porno magazines is getting richer and richer.
Yeah.
80 years old with 5 girls, you say, hold on, what can you do with them? Literally.
Practicing
We're
the
insane,
thing.
like
You
literally.
got the blue pill.
Bring dishonor, disgrace,
Yeah.
and disrespect. Yeah.
That's why the prophet said, be ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if we be ourselves, then our other brothers and sisters can see what a more is.
Know what a more is, and then they can, just like when we're passing around, they can do
Yes.
the same thing.
Yes,
Get
yes.
on board with it,
Yes.
because that's the only real salvation that
Yes.
we're gonna get.
Oh, yes.
There's nothing else.
Islam.
We're at 8:50 right now, so.
We're done, I
if you
guess.
have any
Okay.
questions or
While I
anything.
was in broadcasting, I had to transmit a lot of these issues, and I didn't know at that time.
Really.
I spent a long time at broadcasting. And I would, black and white, I'd show these movies, and then I began to realize. Because I was looking at affairs, and I thought, oh, this is special stuff here. But
Yes.
it was re-education that brought me to this.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah.
So I spent a week in Boston, and I came in touch with a Moorish organization called the Caravan. I want to give everybody one of these things, because going to Boston, you will find that, the Moroccan Caravan.
We'll just plug this
Right.
quick fast.
Sure, fast in Boston.
Moroccan Caravan.
Yes, indeed.
Imported Moroccan
Yeah.
handicrafts
Yeah.
and tours to Morocco.
Yeah, I had some real conversations with these people.
www.moroccancaravan.com.
Can I have one more, please?
Yeah. Anybody want another one?
Contact numbers 617-833-1503.
So to go to Morocco.
833-1503.
Yeah. So he's inviting us to come to Boston and to organize a Moroccan caravan.
That would be beautiful.
Indeed.
That would be really beautiful.
Okay. So I will leave it to the chair to deal with it.
There's actually one here. It's not a Moroccan caravan, but
To
it's
the
a Moroccan. They basically sell everything that he has in here.
It's a store. It's a big
Yeah.
store.
And it's on Yang Street. And it's so amazing to see the shop.
Yeah.
Just
Very
between
impressive.
Gerard and College.
Yeah.
Not the African caravan.
The Moroccan caravan.
Not the black caravan.
No.
Not the
Moroccan.
Ghanaian or the.
And
Yes.
it's the
Moroccan
only restaurant that
caravan.
they actually go to.
Yeah.
Moroccan restaurant here. The Europeans don't go to any other restaurants.
Yeah.
The only restaurant they go to is Moroccan
Yeah.
in the city, in Toronto.
Was there any questions or anything? Any comments for?
In this
Love,
still
brother.
edition.
Yeah, yo.
Love,
No, it goes ahead.
truth, peace, freedom, justice.
All the time.
We're
Yeah.
not allowed.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't come here for questions. I came here to listen. If you have any question, ask yourself. Do not ask nobody.
Yes.
I want to give Islam to Brother Johnny Bay out there active more doing the work. We were on the conference call a couple days ago, building Islam to nature, Islam to Taj,
Islam.
Yeah.
Islam
Sister Raj.
to Sister Raj,
Pleasant Bay.
Pleasant,
Islam.
Sister Al-Zara, always supporting us. Thanks for the love. Yeah, everybody.
Canaanland Moors.
Yeah.
Everybody. Everybody.
Can Taj come down here? Because I'll pay for everything.
We'll go
Yeah.
check them. We'll go check them.
Huh?
We'll go check them.
Yeah.
I'm a terrorist. I can't go out, so
We'll do a bus trip.
I wonder if we can bring him down here.
Yeah. We'll see the
Sure.
video. We'll see.
Huh?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The convention. You know? The Canaanland has to have a convention eventually.
Yeah, man.
You know?
That's
the
uh,
one. Yeah, that's the one right there.
the whole entire
That's
hotel
the
and
vibe
the
that
ticket
I'm
is going out one night.
That's the vibe we always
So-
get
Yeah,
from.
Sorry, I had a question.
Yeah.
Did Prime Minister Harper visit Morocco?
Yeah, he's been there. I'm pretty sure.
Not only once, but many times.
He's been there.
I'm pretty sure that, from what I remember, is that he didn't get a dignitary reception.
No.
He was just considered a prime minister. There was no royal, there was no carpet laid
Yeah.
down for him.
Yeah, because he's corporate. You know, you think about
Especially
think
Morocco.
about where he's going and
least corporate country probably on the planet.
right.
Morocco is a different place.
I mean, Canada's the most corporate.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm saying, yeah, but I'm saying Morocco is
The
probably.
least corporate. Yeah.
I see how they do it. How they do with the U.S.
If I did.
With the U.S. They bring out the red carpet and all that stuff.
Right.
Bring the flags out and all that
Because it's one of theirs.
because that's what we gave them the permission. So it's like they're coming home.
Ah.
City
Right, when
Mohammed.
they go to Morocco. When
Right.
Canada goes to Morocco, like Canada's on nobody. Canada's supposed to be down with the U.S. fraud.
Yeah.
They weren't supposed to create their own fraud.
Next level of.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's an additional level of fraud.
In cahoots with the British,
Right.
right?
They sectioned off this little piece of land.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Right, so we got 856. Let's read Kavit M. Tor. Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the Prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain or unknown. So we know where we're going when we come into this. We know where we're going. We know it's not even whatever's going on is just part of because we're doing what we're supposed to do. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly against its greatest height for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such a realm. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And then that's the 5 pillars of Islam right there. Everybody wants to say something else is the 5 pillars of Islam or the Quran. When the Prophet came and brought everything. It is therefore folly at its greatest height. So it's the lowest lows at its highest heights. Right? For smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such a realm. Like that's how divine this is. That like they're just clinging.
Yes.
Right? Fling off.
I dropped 2 t-shirts tonight. Re-educate and fling off.
Yeah.
Those are big sellers.
They try, but their own bad planning brings down the wrath upon their heads like the sword old Damocles had. Their own bad planning flopped their show. I didn't even have to do anything. They flopped themselves, putting out stupid pictures. Don't even know that you just put a hex on yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that's the sorcery there too.
There's sorcery there too, right? Don't even know, right? Intrigue and scurrilous cunnings find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. This is so because the Moorish movement has been well planned by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment.
The spirit of the Moor is indomitable.
Right. Prophet Noble Drew Ali knows the people within his ranks who are interested. They are the vanguard of the movement as the Moorish hordes increase here in America. And then every time I read that, it brings me back to the hordes and how the hordes were known as the evil. Right? The hordes were known as the evil, and was that He-Man with horde eye? With the hand that turns into the gun, and he has the skeleton face.
Yeah, yeah.
No, not He-Man. We'll check that. Horde eye.
Horde eye.
Is it? Yeah. Horde eye.
I think so.
Right. Every time I read horde eye comes to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And how come they always trying to stop this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just like in He-Man, yeah. When they're trying to stop, the man that has the pyramid and all
Oh,
that. I mean, that's the evil guy. And the European with the blonde hair, you know what I mean, is the hero that's coming to save the world from the mummy that's trying to take over the planet.
And as crazy as that might sound, they show even more knowledge in anime and cartoons.
Right, yeah. The anime
For
is
some
serious.
strange reason, you know? Yeah.
All of the Moors are active, not passive. A member's interest can only be in one direction. And having traveled over the road years before, the Prophet knows where every member is along the road. A few feet below is another road, where schemers walk, where traders grin and culprits bask in the sun. They think they are on the same road with the true Moors, but the Moors are high above on a pinnacle where they might view the destructionists as they fall for the last time, and their bones bleach in the sundry midday sun. Hungry scavengers, flying high, cats scent, devour, and leave crying out, Kavit Emtor, cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see these plotters, purveyors, the worst that exists, hurl themselves downward by their own works as the hawks wait. Islam.
Islam.
So that's the session for today. Alternative Thinking Bookstore, March 13th, May 13th, I mean. May 13th.
On this stage.
Yeah, on this stage. So we'll be here May 13th. We have a Skype lecture to spread the word. We're not even gonna just May 13th, and it's all about the Canada fraud and the Queen and really what's going on in this jurisdiction that we think is a country.
Yes.
That all the other nations out there are saying
conspiracy, big time.
No, we're not going to bring the red carpet. Sorry, but we can't make you look good anymore.
Revelation.
It's Sunday.
Yeah. Right. We'll be right here.
May 13th.
So, 4:30. 4:30, and we'll have it on DVD and post it up on YouTube because we probably wouldn't be able to stream that because of the last time when we had problems. So, Islam Wars, give thanks.
Islam Wars.
Islam.
Father on the left, two on the right as we do, feet and hands at 45-degree angle. Allah, the Father of the
Allah.
universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Mother and Father of love.
Mother and Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace. Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is our protector.
Allah is our protector.
Our guide.
Our guide.
And our salvation.
And our salvation.
By night.
By night
And by day.
And by day.
Through his and her holy prophet.
through his and her holy prophet,
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Ameen.
Ameen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Hotep.
Hotep.
Islam.
Islam.
Thank you.
Islam Wars.
Islam Wars.
Good class.